Well, hey everyone, it's Bill Sickert once again here with a video program for you. And today's video was brought about by several questions throughout the national talks we have done on molecular hydrogen. And it kind of leaked out that I have a little bit of a water background. So now that that's out in the public, I thought I would really expose the background to you so you know exactly where I'm coming from. And maybe create a little bit of a foundation so that you have a story as you explain molecular hydrogen and recovery with HydroFX to all of your friends out there in the country and throughout the world for that matter. So what I'd like to do is give you just a few minutes on my water history and then go into more specifics of the marketplace and ultimately make you a better consumer of two of the biggest liquids that are out there. Coffee and coffee products. I have my cup of coffee this morning with me, and several of these I go through every day, which is bottles of water. And hey Bill, what's the best water, and is coffee healthy, and can it be made healthy, and what's up with all these network marketing companies and their products? So try and rapidly go through all that, including talking about ionizers and water machines and the confusion that's out there. Here's the deal, folks. It is confusing, wildly confusing. Everybody's got their story about playing music in front of water and it changes the water. Believe me, I've seen it all. I've worked with it all. I have been the CEO of two water companies, a consumer product called Penta, and it was kind of fun. You see the logo, and I was looking at some old artwork pieces that we had worked with to create the new Penta logo, and more specifically, a company called Aqua Photonics, and here's my old CEO card there. Aqua Photonics was the technology company where I've learned clearly the most about all the things that are in the water world, and I'll share those with you. Some inside secrets, and some of them a little shocking, but hey, that's what this video is always about, So anyway, over a decade ago, I met a gentleman by the name of Bill Holloway, and I was so moved by his technical background that I aligned with his company as really kind of an interested party, and I was a competitive athlete and using his water product. I felt so compelled to work with Bill that we ultimately collaborated on a project, and we created a book called Water. And this book went into 5,500, almost 6,000 health food stores throughout the country, and hundreds of books were sold in each one of those health food stores. So that's what it looks like. It's still around somewhere in print, I'm sure, but we produced that. And the interesting discovery with Penta water was the fact that all the parameters of water are easily measurable, okay? And those are total dissolved solids, something that fits in my pocket, to determine how much junk is in the trunk, so to speak. The actual materials that are even mineral materials will create increased dissolved solids in water. Pure water, like Penta, had 0 dissolved solids. But interestingly, Penta was not an alkaline water. It was actually even to the tune of a little acidic. But the clinical science behind Penta was extremely compelling. And I want to share that with you right now. Clinical science is in the form of this book that I administered throughout the years at Penta and Aqua Photonics. And this represents metric studies, human studies throughout the world. And the cost of this book is over $1.2 million of human and animal studies on hydration and the effect of Aqua Photonics technology in Penta water and Penta water as a hydrating vehicle for human health. We discovered one very important thing that is still true to this day. And when people argue about different styles of water, spring water, artesian well, distilled, whatever it may be, we discovered that the acidity or alkalinity of water was less of an issue in human health. And the main reason behind it, and believe me, my board of directors was a collection of smart people. Doctors, one of the guys, Shelley Jacobs, invented artificial blood. So I was in pretty good hands when I had a tough question. And what they explained to me was that the mouth is literally always acidic. And it is because of the bacteria profile that ultimately makes plaque that makes us go to dentists to get our teeth cleaned, or hopefully we do. And that issue alone would negate, and the reason I bring this up it would negate the argument for alkaline water as an ingestible product, and it also created all the positive clinical science for penta, which was technically not alkaline water. So you're like, well, you got all this study stuff that says it's so good, and it's not alkaline, so is alkalinity not important? Not at all. It's definitely important. It depends on how it is actually made in the water. But at the end of the day, alkaline or acidic, whatever it may be, you are still dealing with this incredible challenge that makes alkaline water in one switch, literally taking regular water, and this is pure water, just like that. If I spit that out and put a pH paper right in there, I tell you it will be acidic water. So in the stomach, it's also acidic. So these are the challenges of that argument that alkaline water is the greatest thing and it's the only parameter you should look at. It's a good parameter. It's one parameter, and I want to share all the parameters of water with you with this video. So with that, let me go into what we were finding at Penta was, more importantly, how water gets into the cell. Into the mouth, we all know that. I just did. Into the stomach by swallowing. We all understand that. Once it gets into the body, the way it is ushered into a cell, that's where the secrets lie in the quality of water. And that's where we started studying molecular hydrogen. And I consider myself kind of a historian in molecular hydrogen because that was the only play we were looking at Penta, and bringing molecular hydrogen into the water and creating it. Very difficult, but that problem was solved by an incredible scientist by the name of Dusan Milkovich. He's a good friend of mine, and ultimately he created this relationship with a company called 7.2, and they have the only ingestible and a powdered version of that ingestible available to the world now. So that's really exciting. But we'll get into that in just a second. I mentioned total dissolved solids. Is it important? Well, yes and no. I can take purified water and I can take molecular hydrogen, and literally just as simple as this, and I don't even need to stir it up, I have made, with that single act of taking a scoop of recovery and putting it into water, probably one of the healthiest waters in the world. And what I can do with my coffee, which is very acidic, I can simply take my nice shaker cap, which will be coming out shortly, and there you go. A tap, and that coffee is now revolutionized and changed into a very, very healthy beverage. These two beverages, water and coffee, if we can make those two as healthy as possible, we have solved a lot of the health issues in the world, because those are the things that are ingested every day. I will not indict, but I will criticize significantly the coffee products that are out there. And not only are these products extremely poorly designed, unhealthy, artificial sweeteners, artificial colors, preservatives, the gamut of how to make an unhealthy product has been well solved by a lot of those products that are out there. It's pathetic, to say the least. And they sell in the millions. So let's wake up, America, and throughout the world, and figure it out. But that is not a healthy way to get coffee. They even use Ganoderma, which is actually a mushroom, in some of the products. And the health issues with mushrooms and then adding a fungus to a hot beverage is kind of negating, because it's a polysaccharide, and scientists know that polysaccharides don't stand up to heat in many cases. So anyway, that's off my soapbox there with the coffee products. But back to what we were talking about here, really total dissolved solids. It tells you that there is stuff inside the water. If I took a TDS meter of this right now, which was 0, and now if I did it in just a few seconds of testing, it would be probably about 50 to 75 dissolved solids, which largely are made up of magnesium and other materials that are in recovery. Okay, coffee, oftentimes a little more, because you're draining water through brewed coffee. Instant coffee, even higher because of the dissolved solids, and I won't even get into the sludge that this makes in hot water, but anyway, I think you get the point. So that's that. pH is, of course, the alkaline acidity meter. You want to see yourself going into the greens and blue. That's another test for material that is in a liquid format. Far better than that is NORP, and I actually have a NORP meter right here that we've used many times. And NORP with molecular hydrogen in water will go off the chart. Negative numbers are better, negative 700, 750 on a consistent basis. I did a test just here in my home office in the kitchen with Dusan Milkovich not long ago, and the meter readings were extremely favorable for human health. But most importantly, and this goes back to the history and all this money spent on science and having witnessed it myself, solving for molecular hydrogen, regardless of source of water, tap water, distilled water, pure water, water machines, ionizers, you name it. When you are looking at molecular hydrogen is the source of all the positive effects with liquids, and that includes pH, alkaline, that includes dissolved solids, that includes NORP, the negative oxidative reductase potential that's so important for human health, and then molecular hydrogen that ultimately fuels all those things to make the material work better. So with that said, I do want to explain that molecular hydrogen and its creation in a liquid has now been revolutionized through Dusan Milkovich and his work. And now that is available in this product called Recovery with HydroFX. And what this does is separate water and any liquid from virtually any other source. So water machines and all that, I know many of you have spent a lot of money, whether it's a couple $100 on a reverse osmosis machine, all the way up to $500 for those that have ionizing capabilities, and then I've even heard of people spending $3,000 and $4,000 on machines that are attempting to produce these things. And God bless them all, because they were evolving technology to bring people to the awareness of NORP and molecular hydrogen. And the code has been cracked, which has kind of created an entirely new benchmark, and that is molecular hydrogen through Recovery with HydroFX. So I will say this always: I'm a consumer advocate at heart. I like realities that hit human health, and I very much enjoy giving the best information that's available out there so that people become better consumers for their own health. And I will tell you now, with this molecular hydrogen product, I can take a 20-cent cup of coffee, organic as well, and I can take a bottle of water, and this bottle of water costs $2.99 for 24 bottles, and add 40 cents worth of this very pristine product and make that bottle for about 50 cents the best water in the world. So with that, everybody, I hope that helps out with kind of the history, a little more about water and my water background, and a little more about where we're going with this whole collection of information regarding water, water machines, and different styles of water. So with that, I'll drink up and wish you all the very best as always. So take care, everyone. See you soon on the next video.